The Return to Jurassic Park by Michael Criktone. Read by Cameron Parker. Chapter 1. Time. Time, the ever-flowing river. John Hammond. It had been, the theory of time travel had been thrown around for quite a while. Many people had spoken about it, but not a lot of people had done anything about it. Scientists were scratching their heads. How can we possibly send someone back in time? How can we possibly reverse the past? This is something that has been done in fiction, in films, and books. This isn't something that is actually possible. Time is like a river. It moves forward. It can never flow backwards. Or so we thought. In the year 2045, many technological advances have been made, although scientists and engineers at this time had been scoffed at, where beforehand they had been praised. 2045 is a time that is quite different from our own, but I digress. So, time travel had become a buzzword around the year 2030. People, children, their mothers, they were all talking about time travel. Is it possible? Can we possibly do this? At this time, we had finally achieved the electric car. We had finally achieved floating cars. We had finally achieved something that resembled a world peace, a certain kind of world order, which had become strangely enough, this world peace had been achieved by capitalism. Many businessmen and crooked men, through consumerism, through every continent, every country, every continent had become a dictatorship. And now it had become not an arms race, but a race of who can have the most technological advancements. And America was about to make the next one, time travel. Chapter 2. InGen. InGen, after the whole Jurassic Park debacle and the incident in San Diego, was basically rubble. Who could resurrect such an irresponsible company? This company that wanted to bring back the dinosaurs. They wanted to scramble up the past. They wanted to make the world what it was. But how could they possibly do that without the amount of violence and destruction that had occurred? These were people who wanted to play God, and they got their comeuppance for it, and many innocent lives were lost because of it. Dinosaurs were meant to be a prehistoric wonder, and they had become a post-historic blunder because of InGen. InGen was a company. Well, you know what I'm talking about. But InGen was back. InGen said, well, here we were making these genetically modified dinosaurs with just these tiny scrapes of data and DNA that we had from these mosquitoes stuck in amber. What if we could actually go back in time and see these dinosaurs and get more DNA and domesticate them? What if we can create a park full of T-Rexes that had no desire to eat meat. What if we could create a park where raptors could hardly run? This was an idea that was very fascinating to those at InGen. There were about 3 people in the company at this point. As I said, InGen had become rubble. Um, but with this idea, this little seed of idea, a tree had bloomed, and many people had come to InGen to join the company to figure out how can we do time travel. I mean, not only would this bring back the dinosaurs, but this would create something incredible. There are so many other things that they could fix. Chapter 3: The Butterfly Effect. It had been said that if you step on a butterfly in the past, then the future, the future's gonna be all fucked up. They said, okay, it has been said that if you step on a butterfly in the past, just that one step on the butterfly will have unspeakable repercussions for the future. You don't know what will change. Time travel is a dangerous thing and should never be attempted, but InGen felt that it was their time. Little did they know that putting one footprint in the past would absolutely destroy the future, would absolutely change mankind, would absolutely change the face of not only the world, but the universe for the rest of time itself. They had no idea what this step into the past would do, but soon enough they would find out, with the most horrified expressions on their faces. Chapter 4: The Wake. Tim Murphy stood next to Alan Grant's coffin with a blank expression on his face. Tim remembered all the fantastic adventures that he and Alan had shared together. 35. Tim had now become 35. It was his birthday, in fact, and today he would be spending his birthday at Grant's wake. He looked at Grant's face. He looked at Grant's hands. The hands that were holding Grant's famous hat. Grant was holding his brown hat. He was wearing his blue dress-up shirt and brown shorts. Grant had long blue socks reaching all the way up past his knees, and he was wearing red Converse. Tim looked at Grant's body, but he found that he could not cry. Tim Murphy was an avid crier. He would cry all the time throughout his life because of what he had gone through as a child. Seeing all those deaths, seeing those dinosaurs, seeing such monsters at such a young age has kept Tim Murphy haunted throughout his life. What is staring at Alan Grant's body but another day in the life of Tim Murphy? Slap! A hand hits on Tim's shoulder. Who is it but Ian Malcolm? Wow, I'm surprised he lasted this long. I feel dead already. Tim said, I just can't believe it. I always thought that Alan Grant would live forever. He was like a father to me. My mother and my father, they were going through a divorce during Jurassic Park. And he was there. He was the real parent that I never had. The one that I had always wanted. Ian says to Tim, I understand. I need to be honest with you. I need to be upfront with you. Tim says, what? Listen. InGen wants to have a meeting with you. What do you mean? They want to have a meeting with you and I think you should go. I didn't even know they were still around, Tim Murphy said. I thought after Hammond died, they didn't want to do it anymore. Ian Malcolm says. No, they still want to do it, and they want you to help them with something, and I think you should. But why? Tim asked. Even after what they did to you, sending you to the lost world with your girlfriend Sarah? Yes, but you don't understand. Look around you. Look at this country. Look at the world, the way things are. There needs to be a change. We need to go back. We need to go back. Again. We don't know how good we had it. And Tim, you need to get us there. Tim sighed with a sense of relief. He lifted up one of Alan Grant's socks, the elastic. He let the elastic slap down on Alan Grant's dead knee, and said, "What's their address now?" Chapter 5. A world of heroes, but nothing but dirt. Lex's home was an old beat-up shack on the side of the road near the beach. Tim knocked on the door 3 times. No answer. Lex? Lex? No answer. Tim decided to be the brave brother and opened the door and entered. There he saw Lex lying on her couch, drunken and asleep. He walked up to her and shook her on the arm. Her eyes were as red as tomatoes, and her voice was as scratchy as sandpaper. "What do you want?" "Lex, I want to ask you something." "Well, I don't have all day, little brother." Lex picked up a bottle of cognac and took a swig. "Listen, I just wanted to tell you that I'm going into a meeting with InGen. Do you think that it's the right thing to do? After everything they did, can they be trusted? Ian Malcolm thinks I should do it, but I don't even know what they want. Why wouldn't they just contact me?" "Well, is Ian going with you?" "Yes, he's going with me." "Then just do it. We can trust Ian. We like Ian." It was true. The children always liked Ian Malcolm. I suppose it was his debonair humor or his suave fatigue. He was quite a man of the world, the sort of Indiana Jones type that a child could really be behind. And so Tim had trusted the man, and so he went. He said, "Thank you, Lex, that is all I have to say." He got out of the house, he got into his Chevy Pontiac 95, and drove to InGen. There at InGen it was raining hard, as if the clouds were a shower head and the earth was the shower floor, and the drain was the hell beneath all the humans just waiting to suck them all into a dark abyss of hair and mysterious textures. "Get under the umbrella," Ian Malcolm said. Tim got under Ian's umbrella, for he had not brought an umbrella on his own. They entered InGen. "I just saw my sister," said Tim. "How is the old girl?" "Not well, to be quite honest." "Tell me, when was the last time you seen her?" "I think I saw her right before she got married." Yeah, she's a little different from the way she was before she got married. They got divorced, Ian, and she's just..." "They got divorced, Ian, and she's a wreck." She'll pull through it. After all, things are gonna change. Everything is gonna change. What do you mean? What do you mean what I mean? It's time to get to work. Soon you'll find that if we don't do what we have to do here right, humanity is going to turn into dirt. Chapter 7. An Adventure on the Brink of Extinction. Ian Malcolm and Tim Murphy entered the scientists' hall, a hall where many scientists were walking about. God, there used to be only 3 scientists here, scoffed Ian Malcolm. They entered the scientist chamber, where the time machine was being built. Tim Murphy looked up at this hourglass-looking machine. It seemed unreal. It seemed like some sort of trick, some sort of prank. Is this really my life, or is God playing some devilish trick on my humanity? But it was true. There in front of him stood the time machine. Finally, at last, humanity had created what it always said it would. It has finally fulfilled on the promise that it has made. Hello. Up popped the head of Vilcom Hammond. He was, up. Hello. Up popped the head of Jeremy Limbose. Jeremy Limbose was a... Hello. Up popped the head of Jeremy Limbose, the new founder of InGen. I see you found the time machine. This is incredible, Tim said. Don't tell me this thing works. That is the hope, he said. Ian pulled Tim Murphy aside. All right, here's what they want you to do. They want you to go into the time machine and see if it works. They want to send you back to about a year ago to see if it works. Okay, you're going to be their first test subject. After that, once they see it works, they're going to want to go back and make sure the Jurassic Park is a success and make sure that dinosaurs roam the earth. That's awful. Well, they want to domesticate the dinosaurs, but I'll tell you what, not under my bloody backhand. Just then, Ian Malcolm slapped a scientist next to him with the back of his hand, then pulled out a double-barreled shotgun out of its jacket. Tim ducked for cover. Jesus Christ, Holy Mary! Jeremy Lambeau screamed at the top of his lungs. Ian, I knew we couldn't have trusted you. I knew we couldn't trust you. Ian Malcolm cocked his shotgun and said, I guess you'll have to use your time machine and make a different choice. Ian shot off Lambeau's dismember, and it flew across the room onto another scientist's member, which was also shot off by Ian Malcolm very swiftly. Ian Malcolm did plenty of pirouettes around the room, just shooting people. It had become a massacre. He sent everyone back to the prehistoric age. He then picked up Tim Murphy by the collar and said this, very intensely, very sweaty. Tim, you have to go back. You have to go back to the Jurassic Park time. You have to go back and stop Nedry from stealing the dino DNA. You have to stop everything, destroy all evidence. Once all the dinosaurs are destroyed, once all of this is taken care of, the carnage will not have happened and this nightmare will be over. But Ian, look at the world around us. It's a world peace. World peace. That's what they want you to think. That's what they want you to think. The human carnage is incredible nowadays. The bodies are buried like fossils. The bodies are buried like fossils. You can't find them. They cover it up, Tim. They cover it up. They don't want you to see it. They want you to think that it's a world peace, but slowly but surely they are taking over this world and creating a new world order that is a vicious cycle, a terrible hierarchy, a terrible food chain. And I'll tell you, Tim, we are not at the top of that chain. We are the cockroaches that the T-Rex's foot sits on. It's time for you to go back and send these bastards back to the fucking Stone Age. Just then, Ian Malcolm's head exploded. A scientist with a machine gun was behind Tim Murphy. The scientist screamed, "Ah!" Tim turned around, punched the scientist in the face, took the shotgun, shot the scientist, tossed the shotgun aside. He was a pacifist at heart. Then Tim jumped into the time machine and thought, "Oh, when was it? When was it when it all happened? When was it?" Tim closed his eyes and took 3 deep breaths and heard in his brain Alan Grant's voice. February 14th, 1993. Tim pressed the button, and in less than a second, he saw the most familiar face he had ever seen.